Hello YouTube and welcome to my video. Today I would like to give a little bit more insight into how to essentially make a build, how you want to go about thinking about how to make a build. So currently I'm on a character that I'm thinking about rolling as a healer. Um, Much of the same examples I'm going to give works for every build. I'm just doing this one for a healer right now. So once you have enough cards, you can kind of start pick and choosing what you want to go through and look through to make a build. So for example, I wanted to make a holy healer that uses some kind of holy spell. So what you can do is you can type in the search bar here. Let's pick a holy spell. Let's look over here. So there's holy spells right here. There's holy, well, that's damage spells, so not that. Greater heal, prayer of healing. All right, so let's choose greater heal. So I'll type in greater heal. Oops. And then, so what I'll do is I'll scroll down. What we're looking for to make a build is these type of legendary skills here. So these are more or less what you're going to build. You're going to build around. So we got Holy Radiance right here. So it says your effective heals with greater heal and flash heal now trigger Holy Radiance. Your effective heals with greater heal and flash heal now trigger Holy Radiance on all allies affected by your renew. So what Holy Radiance does is heals for 25% of the healing done by your greater heal or 40% of the healing done by your flash heal. So essentially this build, working just off this right here, you would want greater heal and flash heal and renew. You put renew on somebody, you put renew on two people or three people, however many people you can get it up on, and then you cast heals and then it heals on all of them. It's effectively just like a beacon of light. And I think it can actually even be coupled with beacon of light. So you could make a build off just around that, right? That's a good place to start. Ideally, you want more than just one type of synergy with your spells. You could, like I said, get by. You could probably even get into I would say probably Mythic Zeros with just that. It's going to be rough, and you're going to really rely on the rest of your group to be good as well. And if they're not, then you might struggle. Um, some things you could pair it with, like right here, your Greater Heal now basically puts another hot on somebody. Let's see what else. Increase the amount healed by Greater Heal, but increases mana cost. So you would then have to make up for the extra mana you're spending if you went that way. Um, when you cast Greater Heal or Flash Heal on a weakened soul, they receive Armored Fate, which heals them the next time they take damage. This healing is equal to 20% of the heal that granted them Armor Fate. So this right here might be something you could pair with Holy Radiance. So it sounds like what you do is you cast your Power Word Shield on them, and then they get the weakened soul debuff. Then when you cast Greater Heal or Flash Heal, which you would already be using with Holy Radiance on them, you would get this effect. Which see how so this one is using Greater Heal and Flash Heal, and this one is also using. So you could pair those together for an increased effect. So that's kind of what I mean by you want to kind of overlap as many things together as you can. Um, and then from there, it's just getting talents that support it. But the main thing is you want to look for these type of abilities first, or sorry, these types of talents first, and then go from there. So much like what I did here, I already knew that I wanted to go for Holy Spirit here, which when healing or damaging with penance grants you Holy Spirit, increases the healing and critical strike chance of your Holy Shock. So this, based off of just this, it is a penance and Holy Shock based spec or a build. So naturally, you'd want to look for things that buff or change kind of how penance works. So I went with this right here, increases the channel time. So basically, you get an extra proc with penance, and this one, which when you cast other heals, it reduces the cooldown of penance, which just it works well together. You get more penances out by doing this. So really, all I did was, I had it filtered by cards that I have collected, and just if I can type, And then there's other ones like this one. This one would have been nice. I would love to get this one if I can put it in there. Just have faster penance cast whenever I use direct heals. There's plenty of other things you could go for. You kind of really just pick what you have access to. For this build specifically, I wanted to roll this build very early on into the season, but I didn't have the cards and nobody knew where the cards were. So that meant that I could only roll it off of luck, and I didn't want to keep throwing my head at the wall trying to re-roll the prestige the same build to try and get it. So what I did was I just made a different tune, or I prestiged that tune with a different spec. Basically, I played a couple damage builds, and I just made marks, spent the marks, got cards until I got lucky and got the cards that I want for the build I want to play. Unfortunately, that is much of what you're doing at the start of the game. You won't really have access to target the builds you directly want to play just yet. So it is worth it to see what the cards give you and play that, and then use the best build you can get with the cards you have to kind of to get you to max level, to get you into where you can farm the cards that you need for the builds that you want. So if we wanted to look at a damage build, a DPS build, it's much of the same thing. For example, let's look at what's an easy one to understand. Let's go with Elemental Shaman. So Lightning Bolt, right? Lightning Bolt is your kind of main casting skill for an Elemental Shaman, and then Earth Shock. So let's search up Lightning Bolt. So we're going to skip down to these things right here. So we've got Conductor. That's a good one, more or less, but it's a little complicated to understand. So we're going to see if we're going to look at a little bit simpler to understand one. Booming Thunder. Booming Thunder is a really easy to understand one. You get a buff called Booming Thunder when you deal damage with Lightning Bolt or Chain Lightning, and when consuming a certain talent. We're not worried about that talent right now. And what Booming Thunder does is increases the damage of your next Earth Shock by 15%, and its critical strike damage bonus by 2% stacks up to 20 times. So basically, with that, all you are doing is you're casting Lightning Bolt, so you get those stacks, and then you're expending those stacks with Earth Shock. Very simple to understand. You can do the same thing again. Like let's see, da da da. You could pair it with Overlord, or sorry, excuse me, Overload Mastery. Your Lightning Bolt and Chain Lightning have 11% chance to cast a second time, and strike the target for half damage. So basically, you cast one Lightning Bolt, you get two stacks of this. Those two pair together. You can even go down into epics, and let's see. I don't really know of any off the top of my head that would pair well. Um, but you kind of just read through and see what you can combine together. Your build primarily are going to be made out of these legendary cards like this, or talents like this, and some supporting epic ones. Past that, the blues, there can be some blue ones that are kind of build defining that in that way, but for the most part, it's only epic or legendary. So you're kind of only concerned with those two. What I usually end up doing when I want to try and make a build is I'll come over here and I'll quality filter by legendary, and oh, I'll look through here and I'll go, let's see, I look down through here and I go, oh, I've got, that's an easy one. Holy Ascension. I've got Holy Ascension. What does Holy Ascension do? Or what kind of spells does it use? It uses Holy Fire, it uses Holy Shock, and Exorcism. So I know that those are three spells that I'm looking for. So I could go over here to ability cards. I can search up and see if I got those spells. If I have those spells, then I know I can combine them with that card, and then that's a build I can move towards right there. And then everything else past that, you just kind of layer it on top to create a more synergistic build. And that's kind of what you're looking for when you're trying to build a build. There aren't really any guides out that will help you with this. Last season we had the Hero Architect, and you can still, if you do some googling around, you can still find the builds from last season and from Area 52 everywhere. And they, with a very discerning eye, you can use those old builds to craft a build here. because all of the they're called legendary mystic enchants. They were shattered into talents and spells. So Holy Ascension was its own thing. It had all of the effects in one, but now it's been broken into multiple different pieces. So you've got to collect all the pieces here. So you can still kind of figure out what the pieces are for a individual build from the old builds, but the way in which you build it is different here in that you can actually take two different builds, or two different of the old builds, and put them together to make one new build on this season. Much like how I was saying, so I could use this Holy Radiance and I could use Holy Spirit on the same build, whereas on last season and on Area 52, Holy Spirit was its own build and the Holy Radiance was its own build. You couldn't combine those two. So there's a lot of kind of combining and overlapping of skills this season that you can't really get from build guides from last season and from the Area 52 server. All right, I appreciate you giving me a watch. If you would like, you can leave a like on the video, leave a comment on any questions you have, and I'll address them in future videos. I appreciate you stopping in, watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.